Got it. Okay.
Happy day
Welcome.
after Thanksgiving.
Happy day after Thanksgiving. Yes. Tell me how your relationships were. How was your relationship with your loved one, your spouse, your significant other, your partner, your life partner? Like, how was your relationship with your mom, your dad, your relationship with your siblings, with your, offspring? How was that?
Yeah, it's important to, I mean, probably the people watching are have that one person or maybe a couple more that pop to mind when we think about relationship funk. So, who is that one person? Were they with you on Thanksgiving or were they the topic of conversation?
Oh,
I
you know,
remember.
relationships is like a can of worms, guys. Relationships, if you're feeling separated, if you feel shame, if you feel hurt, if you feel like you just can't get your feeling across to your loved one, if your loved one runs because you're high maintenance and you're needy, or you don't think you're being needy, like, where are you in your scale of relationship? 0, I am totally happy and content, or 10, I am like filing for divorce, even if you're not married. Like, where are you in your relationship? Because it's two people. It is two people coming together with two different worlds. Like, each person has their own interpretation of what love is and what you need and who's responsible for what. Wow.
Communication, the amount of together time, the amount of like all of these things, like even what you eat, maybe
And when you eat and who you eat with, and if you
right,
don't invite that person over to eat when they're eating,
and
that
where
means,
you eat.
like, guys, we make so many meanings in our relationships that this is what I love about brain training, is that we can we can go in there and see how you're creating the relationship that you don't like, because it's based on patterns and behaviors that you have gotten or needed. You behaved a certain way because you needed this person to react this way. But after a while, when it's not your partner's program, after a while you're like, wow, no, this pattern is not mine to fix. So we have to take responsibility somewhere, Tammy.
Yes. I was just reading through somebody who was saying, you know, she keeps ending up with the same kind of bosses in her job. And that's a relationship funk too. So, how come it is that it's always the same treatment from a boss? Like now we have to start looking at maybe it's not them, maybe it's what we're believing, what we're expecting, um,
What
what
we're
we allow,
attracting,
what we're attracting, what we
what we're
allow
pushing away, y- you
instead of,
know?
right.
Yeah. So, what can we get? What kind of hints can we give them about what kind of brain training techniques about
Yes.
relationships? Is there?
So I think the biggest thing is what like just like you were saying, taking responsibility for your own, and we call it emotional intelligence, and it doesn't sound like this fancy schmancy word, but guess what? If it sets you free to react, respond, to live and stay within. Like it's awesome for me when my clients say, "Oh, I feel like I can act like myself. Like I feel like I'm acting like me. I'm feel." So now they're no longer acting from an emotion that's over. You know, they're not reacting to
Right.
the past memories that have caused them pain, and now they still have that spinning in their head. So really, how to be happy, how to feel good no matter what's going on, and that is what you can learn by taking a look at your happy memories.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the simplest thing to do, is to break those patterns, break those neural connections, is go to a happy memory. You know the stop technique. You stop, you smile, you tap on that shame, that guilt, that frustration, whatever you're avoiding, the domination. We're either avoiding dominations, or we're dominating. And that's like the two rules. We're either pushing that person to give us something, and we're pulling and it's just like it's a push and pull, push and pull. So just stop and then just find out where you are. What are you doing? What are you grasping for? What is it that you are needing? Because guys, we have to give it to ourselves. We cannot expect other people to give it to us. I believe that.
Yes.
If you're feeling hurt, separated, shamed, guilt, you need to stop and you need to say, where have I neglected, avoided myself? Where in my growing up did I shut that part down? Where did I create guilt or shame to be able to cope? We
Yes.
gotta stop and we gotta look at what are we doing? What are we
Yes.
doing?
That's awesome. And it really is. We always say it always goes back to the memories, and it does. But if you don't know any of the techniques for dealing with that, the biggest technique is the stop technique, and then using that happy feeling, that happy memory. Get your happy memories and feelings so strong that no matter what happens, they become something that you can do inside of your head. Because we know inside of our heads, I mean, for me, there's all kinds of things going on in my head, right? There's a conversations, there's thoughts, there's, you know, just the sensations, there's all these things going on when I'm having a conversation. And how much easier is it for me to handle it all when I'm actually focusing on how I feel when I'm happy? Who am I when I'm happy? Who am I when I'm calm? Who am I when I'm relaxed? This helps me react from an authentic place instead of something from the past.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. Just keep listening to us. If you guys need more insight on how to work on relationship, if you're struggling in your marriage, in your relationship, in your partnership with your children, best thing to do is just stop and notice what are you grasping for? Are you trying to control a situation, and why? Why is it that you're trying to? Because there's some fear, there's some old memories that if you didn't, what bad thing would happen, right? If yeah. It's easy breezy when you know what you're doing. It's easy breezy when you are awakened and you're aware of what you're doing. Because look, basically, it's probably two 12-year-olds trying to come together, right?
Yeah.
Two 5-year-olds trying to. I want this. It's like
Right.
and if you really stop and slow down, really slow it all the way down and just wait to respond. Sometimes we're quick to respond because that's a trigger, and that's we're just like shooting left and right. So if you can just stop and
Yes.
be present and figure out what it is that you are needing, that you neglected in you. Like, that's the first responsibility we have to do.
Very
Your
good.
reaction, your action, your request, your demand, whatever it is, what are you needing? What are you looking for? What do you want to feel? And where in your life have you told yourself you can't do that? Told yourself that it's not safe? And then
Yes.
come in and we'll tap it all out.
It's so interesting because as you were talking about that, I was thinking how, I have had these moments where I act like a 2-year-old and I'm like, what just happened? Like, how come I don't even know how, you know what I mean? Like, that's not how I respond. So it seemed, if you're wondering, how did this just happen? Why does it happen? How come it happens? Like, to me, this is fascinating to figure out how and why. To you, it might just be like, let's eliminate it. Let's figure out how to notice it, be aware of it, and just drop it, not have it be something that keeps rising up and creating
And
more
yeah,
problems.
and it's making complete and total peace with all parts of you guys, because who's reacting and who's responding, and then you feel guilty because and then you start doing everything that you didn't want to do because of the mistake that you did, and so we're just driving ourselves crazy in our relationship, and we get into these and you think that we would have it down by now, like that we wouldn't have these problems, but come into our program. We will help you clean those up, because we know what it means, that the brain and your partner and his brain and his history and your history and their experiences, and you make complete peace for all parts of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look, guys, you've made mistakes, you screwed up. Okay, got it. Let's get complete with that. And
Right.
not drag it into the next marriage or the next relationship. Well, I messed up this way, so now I have to behave this way. We're not even
Oh,
acting it from our
so
authentic
true.
self.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfectly said. It's a great opportunity to get to know yourself when you know what is it and who are you and how to do happiness, calmness, relaxation, how to do those things you want more of in your life for yourself. Nobody's going to be with you 24/7. When you can do it for yourself, there is freedom in that.
You're gonna die alone, guys. Yes, you gotta do it for you, right? You know, I mean, we do it for ourselves, and the other people get the rewards. The other people get
Exactly.
the.
Hmm. Yep. What we're treating ourselves like inside of ourselves is how we're treating others. And that's where all of this thought process comes from. When you do it for yourself, uh, you feel so good. And then that goodness comes out on others.
So December's a month of relationships. So we'll be talking relationship of some sort, giving some tips and tricks on relationships, how to look at yourself, how to ask yourself questions, how to stop and be aware. We're just going to give you some insight. So December's a day to come together and just create some peace, some calm, some
Yes.
happiness. Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's
Oh,
do it. Let's make the holidays and setting yourself up for next year more. I mean, the things that probably are most impactful for you are your closest relationships. So let's make them lovely.
yes.
All right. Like this video, share it with your friend. Be sure to click notifications. We love you and we'll see you tomorrow.